So it's week 34, day 239, if you're keeping track since the shutdown. So we're 23.9% towards our 1,000 days of yoga. This is the flexibility in the spine, Kriya, and it really focuses on the lower lumbar, the thoracic, behind heart and lungs, and the cervical spine. There's core work, there's stretching, there's breath work, just long, deep breathing. I don't think we even do any breath of fire today. Just long, deep breathing and our Sat Kriya. So let's sit tall, either in easy pose or thunderbolt pose. Welcome, Melanie. She has her coffee now. She's all in her yoga togs. Oh, good. Okay, we're sitting up tall. Since this Kriya is about the spine and the flexibility of the spine, immediately tune into your spine. As you sit tall, if you lift the heart, it really helps telescope the spine. It also lifts the back of the head over the lumbar spine, giving you really great alignment. Begin to connect with your breath. All the breath through the nose, equal inhales, equal exhales. Or if you desire, you can make the exhale longer than the inhale. If you're a more advanced practitioner of Kundalini Yoga, you begin to unconsciously do a 3-second inhale and maybe a 6-second exhale, doubling the length of time of the exhale. Really need to use the core to help measure the breath so it slowly leaves your diaphragm. That's how singers and actors use breath support. It all comes from the core. It's where we project. It's where our authentic voice comes from, is from our core. Quickly scan your body for body sensation. How does it feel to be in your body this morning? Is there any constriction? Any discomfort? Try to breathe into that part of the body or use a prop. Sometimes just propping a hip or putting a block under the knee or another pillow under the pelvis, sit bone, or just changing your position can make a big difference. If you're not comfortable in one position, move to another so you can be comfortable to concentrate on your breath and quieting the mind. Yoga Chitta Vritti Naroda, Sanskrit means yoga is the fluctuations, it's the quieting of the mind. Some 2,000 years ago, codified by Patanjali. Yoga Chitta Vritti Naroda, yoga is the quieting of the fluctuations of the mind. Make whatever sounds are in your room today, make them part of your practice. And the last word in our acronym BEST, B-E-S-S-T, is thought. Where is my thought as I consider the fluctuations in my mind? The mind's job is to think. I'll mute everyone and we will bring our hands to Anjali Mudra to begin the practice with the Adi Mantra. 3 times, I'm honoring that creative spark inside of me. I'm honoring that spark in each of you in this virtual space, and I'm honoring it in everyone in the greater world. It connects us as all sentient beings. 3 big inhale, exhales through the nose. Inhale. Adi Mantra. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Let's come on to all fours. We end the practice with cat-cow, which is a little unusual. So we'll begin it with cat-cow because it's all about the spine today. So as you drop into this cow pose, I try to drop my belly and I lift my chin forward. That's about the maximum extension I can get in cow. Then in cat, I'm rounding the spine like the scaredy cat. I'm drawing my chin towards my forehead, towards my sternum. That would be a little hard to do. Inhale, dropping the belly, bringing the head, chin forward. Exhale, bringing the chin towards the sternum. Inhaling deeply, exhaling deeply. I'm inhaling in the cow and I'm exhaling in the cat. Make sure the fingers are spread wide like a starfish. You want to equalize the pressure throughout the hand, helping the wrist. Your arms in the cat pose will be really strong and straight. Now let's take the right foot back and just take the toes to the mat. So my left knee's still on the mat. And I'm trying to draw that heel, the calcaneus bone, towards the mat. Of course, it's not going to touch because you have the instep, that metatarsal arch. You can really stretch out the calves, the hamstrings, the quads even start to stretch. If you want to add on, you can take your left arm forward, thumb to the ceiling. So now the left arm is extended, the right arm is back. You're balancing just on that left knee and the right hand. Pull the core in. If the core is pulled in, the balance gets much easier. I'm looking straight down at the mat, so that makes my cervical spine nice, long, relaxed. It's in that lordosis where it concaves in, just like the lower lumbar spine. Take that left hand down, take the right knee down. Now stretch the left leg back I've curled my toes under, spreading out my toes, my phalanges. I'm trying to draw that heel towards the mat. Oh, such a nice stretch of the leg. Wow, you feel it in the quads, the calves, hamstrings. I'm feeling it all the way into the gluteus maximus, the big muscle in the buttocks, the gluteus medius, that muscle that hangs down the side, connects the pelvis and the hip, keeps it stable. Now step back with both feet and try to take both feet towards the floor. Take that right knee back to the mat. We'll do the bird dog on the other side. So my right hand is coming forward, thumb to the ceiling. So I'm balancing on that right knee and the left palm. Draw your core in, use your Uddiyana Bandha, draw it towards navel, towards the spine. As soon as you engage the core, it makes the pose easier. Take the hand back down, push both feet back into a downward facing dog, begin to walk out the dog. Welcome, Susan Alexander. Take the left heel to the mat and then the right heel. Bend each opposite knee. Feel your spine in this position already. Where's your lumbar spine? Where's the thoracic? Where's the cervical? Now walk the hands back towards the feet or the feet towards the hands. Just be in your deep forward fold. Your first inversion of the morning, just hanging there. Review the spine quickly. So the spine, the lower lumbar spine, can flex forward all the way. It has the ability to move all the way to where you can touch your toes. That's a deep flexion. Now, when we eventually stand up, it won't extend back nearly as far, just a few degrees. So let's slowly come up, drawing the hands up, fingers spread wide, and come into that full extension where the hands are coming over the head and you're leaning back. So now you feel what the spine is capable. The lower lumbar spine, that's its maximum extension. So it can flex forward all the way to the floor, but it can only extend back just a few degrees. So slowly bring the arms back down to the floor again. We'll do a few half sun salutations. The hands come all the way to the floor. Then I spread the arms wide. It's like I'm greeting the morning sun, holding a big ball. I'm looking up, my hands come together over my head. That's my inhale. My exhale, I swan dive forward, bringing him back down. Inhale back up again. We'll do this maybe 10 times. Just warming up the spine. We're about to go into the archer pose to begin the Kriya. Greet the morning sun. It's like you're holding this huge beach ball. My feet are spread about hip width distance apart, so I'm really stable and grounded. I'm feeling that tripod in my feet, the heel, the metatarsal behind the big toe, the metatarsal bones behind the baby toe. My stability is strong, then I can create mobility on the top half of my body. And float the arms to the side. Big toes touch, stand in your Tadasana, big standing mountain pose. Close your eyes so you can feel your balance from the inside. My big toes are touching. Lift up all 10 toes so you're feeling your arch. Feel that metatarsal arch. Then put all 10 toes back down. Try to stretch them. Maybe you look down and you see some mat. The color of your mat is showing between your toes. Big, deep breathing. You're really grounded. So now we'll build on that grounding. The Kriya will begin. You're going to step forward about 3 feet with your right foot, moving into a warrior 2. But before we bring up the arms, I want to create that stable base. So experiment with how far the feet are apart. Mine are about 3 feet. That back leg is straight, super strong. You might inch it, the front foot forward, experiment with different distances, but we want the knee right over the ankle. We don't want the knee going way forward over the toes. That's too much extension or flexion. I want the outside of my knee to favor the lateral side of the foot or the outside of the right side of the mat. We don't want the knee caving in. So once you have that solid base, feel that quad engage, then you can take that arm forward, your bow. I've got my fingers into the nail pad and just my thumb is up. So I'm holding that archer pose. Then my left arm comes forward. I pull back my bow. Let me look at your legs now. Rodney, make sure you're favoring that baby toe side of the foot with the knee, that it's not drawing in. Perfect knee placement, Mimi. Pablo, that's terrific. I can't see Maria. Margaret, wonderful. Susan, perfect. Melanie. Roberta, I almost think you could step forward a little bit more and get a little more 90-degree bend in your knee. Yes, if that feels okay. It's going to make your back leg work harder. It has to be super strong. Long, deep breathing. It's a very powerful pose. In Hatha, we call it Virabhadrasana 2 or Warrior 2. I like in Kundalini that they call it Archer pose because it truly is the archer. I think it was patterned off Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, which is part of the big Indian lore, Mahabharata, the big, huge tale. Inhale. Exhale, step forward to Tadasana. So you're back in Tadasana, resetting everything, standing tall, feeling that stable base. Maybe you pick up the toes, feeling the arch, putting back down, feeling the 2 metatarsals, feeling the heel, the calcaneus bone. All the legs are super engaged. Lift the heart. That string is pulling the top of your head up to the ceiling. Open the eyes. Now we'll do Archer on the other side. So you'll step forward with the left leg. You'll turn that back leg so it's about, the foot's about a 45-degree angle. So the toes are shooting off to the right side about 45 degrees. Maybe you keep inching the foot forward. Do you feel that back leg super stretched? Super strong. Get your base. So the base needs to be well defined before you bring the arms in. Everybody looks like they have a stable base. Then take that left arm forward, thumb to the ceiling. I'm holding my bow. Then I reach forward with my right hand. I'm pulling the taut string back. It crosses my chest. So I'm really stretching everything, legs, upper body's involved. Long, deep breathing. Very powerful pose. You're accessing your inner purpose. You're accessing your strength, your resilience, your discipline. It takes discipline to be on your mat every day. Some days we don't feel like getting on our mat. We'd rather sleep in or be lazy or do anything else. But then once you're on your mat, oh yes, now I know why I'm here. Now I know why I came back. Big inhale, step forward, Tadasana, standing mountain pose. Close the eyes, big toes touch, heels slightly separated. Turn it into a balanced pose. Arms at your side. Palms try to open up forward if that's okay for your forearms. Sometimes it feels a little bit odd. Shoulders are down and relaxed. Your face is relaxed. Remember, your face is a mirror of your mind. So if the face is all scrunched up, chances are your mind is not relaxed, is not calm. Calming the face actually can help calm the mind. Okay, we make our way onto our backs. Back of the head is on the mat. This is where we're going to do the 60 seconds of a leg lift, a held leg lift. We don't hold the breath though. It's long, deep breathing. So I like to be safe for the lumbar spine, I like to slide my forearms under my buttocks. My hands are underneath my hamstrings, palms down on the mat. So I'm really kind of protecting that lordosis, that lumbar spine, the way it's curving up towards the midline of the body. So now we'll start this in just a moment. 60 seconds. Lift the legs up about 3 feet. About 6 inches, 3 to 6 inches, less than a foot. Long, deep breathing. If it gets to be too hard, just draw the knees in towards the midline, and it'll make it much easier. Then you can push them back out. Long, deep breathing, no held breath. You're developing that strength of the lower lumbar through the core. The lower lumbar kind of hangs out in no man's land, according to Harvey Deutsch, my anatomy teacher. There's no ribs to support it. And lower the legs down. You can take the hands out And then just turn around onto your stomach. So we're going to do the reverse, but this time I make little fists. Depending on the length of your arms, my fists are coming under my quads, but they might be in your groins, depending on your inseam length. I keep the chin on the mat. Then again for 60 seconds, I'm going to lift my legs up. So it's just a small lift, maybe 3 inches. I point the toes. I'm going to be here for a minute. Keep breathing long and deeply. Keep the chin on the mat. You can always drop the legs for a moment. You're protecting your lumbar with your arms under your groins or your top of your quads. You're building strength in that no man's land, the lumbar spine. Probably the reason we have so many injuries there is that it's less protected. I feel it pulling in my core, in my lower lumbar right now. And take it down. You can remove the hands. Now reach back and grab the top of the ankles. You might need a strap here or a belt if you can't grab your ankles. On this one, it's still long, deep breathing. This is called bow pose. So I'm going to try to lift my chin off the mat. I'm going to try to kick my feet into my hands, my ankles into my hands. It really stretches out the arms. I'm going to check your positions. Everybody looks great. Long, deep breathing. I know it's an uncomfortable pose. You're seeing that the lordosis in the spine is really being accentuated. We want to work with those curves. We want to keep the lordosis in the lower lumbar and the cervical spine, kyphosis in the thoracic spine, meaning it curves out. Good job. Now lower down, and you're going to come up to standing. So make your way up to a standing position. We'll do these windmills. So now we're going to start working with the thoracic spine. So I'm about, I think the cue says 2 feet apart. I'm really just about my shoulder length, shoulder width. My arms are out at a T, looking straight ahead. Inhale, then as I come down, exhale, I'm bringing that right hand to the left foot. I bend the right knee. Right hand, right knee bent. Coming back up, I bend the left knee, take the left hand to the right toe. 25 times. Just keep doing these. Inhale up, exhale down. Let me watch you. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Yes, you're doing a good job bending your knees. No reason to put excess stress in the lumbar. Feel how the thoracic spine allows you to twist. There's limited twist in the lumbar. Probably you're at the 5-degree maximum. You're inhaling as you come, exhaling as you come down. You're inhaling as you come up. Think about the thoracic spine and how it's twisting. The cervical spine twists as well, but not as much in this pose as the thoracic. You're moving synovial fluid, that WD-40, through all the bones, muscles, ligaments. Everything's being lubricated. Endocrine system, lymph is being pumped. And come back to center. Now, feet about 6 inches apart. We're going to work on the extension of the spine. So I just cross over my thumbs. My fingers are spread wide. And I bring my hand up and I'm just leaning back. So come to standing on the inhale. Inhale back, exhale forward. So I'm going my maximum extension back, and then my hands come up to 12 o'clock. I just practice this extension. And then once you feel that maximum extension, now bring the hands all the way to the floor. So you're flexing all the way to the floor. Bend your knees as you come down. Inhale, do the extension on the back. So now you're really feeling what the lower lumbar is capable of doing with flexion and extension. It can bend far forward, right? All the way to the floor, but it doesn't want to go back very far. You're really helping strengthen the lower lumbar. You have to engage the core to do this. It just happens naturally. We touched our toes a lot in calisthenics in school, but I don't think we were really taught what was happening in the spine. So try to build consciousness. What's happening in my lower lumbar as I bend back? What's the maximum extension? The more conscious you are of your body, the less you're prone to injury. You're not going to put your body or your back, you're not going to make it do something it's incapable of doing. Now come back to center. We're going to practice side bends. So I bring my right hand up. It comes over my head. My left hand flies down, slides down my left leg. I feel these intercostal muscles on my right side. Then I come to the other side. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Feel those intercostal muscles between the 12 ribs. And the lower lumbar spine is able to side bend, right? It's allowing you to do that. There's more side bend in the thoracic spine and the cervical spine. The cervical spine, the head can almost touch the shoulder. Keep going. Stay conscious of your spine. 5 vertebrae in the lumbar, 12 vertebrae in the thoracic, 7 vertebrae in the cervical. Those thoracic vertebrae are all attached to a rib. The lumbar is supported only by muscles and ligaments. Now come back to center, Tadasana. Stand and just feel your spine. Big toes touch, close the eyes. Telescope the spine, periscope the spine. Imagine that string is pulling the top of your head up to the top of the room. I'm lifting my heart. My hands are at my side, palms open to the front of the room. With each inhale, feel the diaphragm drop and expand. The belly pushes out. You're filling that whole body cavity with air. Each big inhale, the heart gets a little massage. Organs have to move out of the way as the diaphragm expands. Exhale, feel that belly draw towards the spine, helping push the air up and out through the mouth or through the nose. We're trying to breathe through the nose. Now come back down to your mat. You're going to sit on your buttocks for the life nerve stretch. I like to sit on the edge of a blanket just to lift my pelvis a little bit. Try to stretch my feet, my legs as wide as I can. First, I'm sitting up tall, feeling my full height, feeling my spine in this position. I'm going to generate heat now at my root, right at the coccyx, the tailbone. There's a lot of effort going down to this seated point. Feel your core, your sagittal plane, right? The center of your body, the center of your balance is right here in your core. Sliding my hands, my palms down my shins. Maybe I can make it all the way to my toes. Grabbing my big toes, peace sign fingers around the toe, pushing into the nail bed of the big toe or pushing into that meaty part of the nail bed before the nail emerges. That toenail fungus that grows. Susan said I give hints from Heloise. That nail fungus starts way back here before the nail comes out. This is a pressure point for blood pressure. But that nail fungus, there is a good medication, oral medication. Topical treatment doesn't seem to work very well, but you can take this oral medication for about 3 months and it clears up all the nails. Keep breathing. Now, this is a little different this week than last week. I draw for more extension, I take my hands to my ankles, inhale, exhale, I try to bring my forehead towards my knee on the left side, coming up, inhaling, exhale, forehead to the right knee. Let's do this 25 times each side. You might be able to stay holding onto your feet and bringing the head closer to the knee. I think I get a little more extension by trying to draw the hands to the feet on each side. Can you feel it in your lumbar? You feel that the lumbar allows you to flex forward. It even allows you to twist slightly, but more of the twist is happening in the thoracic spine and the cervical. Come back to center, draw the hands up, slide them up the tibia, that big bone, that big shin bone, 2 bones in the leg, the tibia and the fibula. Smaller ones, the fibula runs down this lateral side where many muscles, ligaments, tendons attach. Sitting up tall. Feel that string again, pulling the top of the head up, but my shoulders are relaxed and down. My feet are flexed in dorsiflexion. Engages all the leg muscles when I'm in flexion. Go to plantar flexion, so point the toes. You feel the origin and insertion in the muscle change how it works. So flex, point, plantar flexion, dorsiflexion when I draw the toes back. You feel all those muscles changing and engaging. Now draw the feet together. Paschimottanasana in Hatha Yoga. I flex the feet back, dorsiflexion. This one, I'm reaching over with a long flat back, bending my knees. Right now, when I start, I can't keep my knees flat and keep my back flat. I grab my big toes the same way, peace sign fingers, thumb pushing into the nail bed of the big toe or into that pressure point at the skin right before the nail bed, one of the meridian points. Inhaling up, exhale. I try to bring the forehead closer to the knees, conscious of my long flat back. Beautiful flat back, Janet. I can see it. You're right in profile. Margaret, I can tell you're flat. Pablo, Medea, Melanie, Susan, Rodney too. I can't see Roberta or Mimi. Breathing deeply. You're getting a wonderful stretch in the quads, in the hamstrings, in the calves, in the arches, because the feet are flexed back. Obviously, the lumbar, thoracic, cervical, everything's being stretched. A great pose to do if you're going to go for a run, to stretch everything out before you get on the treadmill, Janet. Our 90-minute aerobic queen here. Okay, from here, sit up. We're not going to do shoulder stand virtually today unless it's in your practice. So if you're watching on the recording, if shoulder stand's part of your practice, you can move into that. I like to put a blanket on the leading edge of my shoulder. Everyone else is going to go up into legs up against the wall. So Margaret, if you put this, if you can see me, how I've got this blanket here on my shoulders, it creates a little more arch in the neck rather than the neck being flat on the mat. So then I come back like this. So I've got this leading edge at my shoulder level. And then when I come up, I have a little more arch available to me in my cervical spine. So it's legs up against the wall. If shoulder stand's part of your practice, you can do it. I'm not there to help you or guide you, and that makes me a little nervous, but we always protect in a shoulder stand, protect the cervical spine. So no looking around, no looking left or right. Keep your gaze straight up to the ceiling. It's not a place to be twisting the neck. If you're in legs up against the wall, try to take the arms over your head. You'll stretch the spine. It's a wonderful stretch for the spine. You get many of the same benefits in legs up against the wall as you get in shoulder stand. It's not as difficult, and it's absolutely safe. Breathing long and deeply. You can take the arms out to a T, feeling the heart chakra exposed and vulnerable. Shoulder stand is called the Queen of Poses. I'm blanking on the Sanskrit name right now. The ancients believed that there was a finite amount of life force that would kind of drip down. And when we were in shoulder stand or legs up against the wall, everything's suspended. So it adds to the length of your life. So the life force isn't dripping down, drip by drip, like the salt coming through one of those 3-minute timers. Very relaxing pose. The vagus nerve is stimulated, the 10th cranial nerve, part of the parasympathetic nervous system. Your long, deep breathing activates the vagus nerve, as does eating. The results are much quicker with breath work than with eating, of course. I wish I could keep you here longer, but we're 55 minutes into the class. So slowly slide the legs down. If you're in shoulder stand, slowly, I liken it to a runway. The legs are coming down the runway. Beautiful dismount, Margaret. We're going to move into Sat Kriya. We do Sat Kriya sitting on our heels in Thunderbolt pose. If this is too much flexion on the knee for you, then stay in easy pose. I want your bottom of your body, the lower half, to be comfortable. Sat Kriya, we're chanting Sat Nam, S-U-T. It's Sat, but it's pronounced Sat, S-U-T. Nam, Sat is truth, Nam is name. So you're chanting, my truth is my identity, my true self is who I really am, beyond my personality, beyond my physical body, my soul self. The mudra, fingers interlace, thumb up, or you can go straight Anjali Mudra prayer position. It's a little harder in prayer. It puts more stretch. The arms come up by the ears, so steeplechase mudra or prayer pose. So everything is stretched, tall. Remember, we're going to do this 2 minutes. We inhale on the Sat, belly draws in, opposite of what we normally do in breath work. And on Nam, the belly relaxes. So let's begin. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. Close the eyes so you're aware of what's happening in your body. It's a slight draw in of the navel on Sat. As you inhale, you automatically squeeze the bandhas. Doesn't have to be forceful. Otherwise, the lower half is fairly relaxed. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. You're balancing sexual energy, working with the 3 lower triangle of first, second, third chakra. Sat Nam, 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 Sat Nam. Big inhale, Sat. Suspend the breath, hold the breath unless you're on moon menstrual cycle, then just long, deep breathing. Squeeze the bandha, so squeeze anus, sex organs, pull navel towards spine. All three bandhas are engaged. And slowly come down now. Keep the palms forward. I just come forward, more forward on my knees. Let my forehead come to the mat. It's called Guru Pranam. To play a chant here. It's the Satanama chant. Infinity, life, death, rebirth. Sa is infinity. Ta is your life, your existence. Na, the change of life, the transformation, death. Ma, rebirth. The ever cycle of life, which you're a part of, always changing, always growing. Let the chant wash over you, the infinity of life, the temporalness of life, the brief time that we're here. With that deep sense of infinity, bring yourself back up to a seated position. Keep the eyes closed. You try to stay in this meditative state, easy pose or half lotus. Arms come out to a T. You can keep the eyes closed. This is a nice forearm stretch because as the arm comes over my head, the backs of my wrists touch. That's my inhale. As I come down, I let my fingers touch the earth, the mat, grounding to earth, inhaling up, exhaling down. Keep the eyes closed. Stay inside that state of pratyahara. It's one of the 8 limbs of yoga. The yamas, the niyamas, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Asana, the movement, that's only one limb of yoga. Pranayama, breathwork, is only one limb of yoga, one of the 8 limbs. Big inhales up, feel the spine telescoping, periscoping up, stretching up. Fingers just lightly touch the mat, that connection to earth, grounding yourself. Bottom half of your body is relaxed. It's in Sukham, S-U-K-H-U-M, Sukham, relaxed, calm. Just the arms and the shoulders are engaged. A few more seconds. Bring the arms slowly overhead. Let the back of the wrist touch. I know it's quite a stretch. You're really stretching the spine up. You're twisting the forearms. And slowly float the arms down. Let the palms make contact with the earth. Draw energy in. Feel your connection to the earth, the electromagnetic field, gravity, grounding us. You're building your equanimity, you're building your spiritual muscle. Now come onto all fours. This is a plow, crow pose, knee bend. It's a full extension of the knee. So if this is hard for you, I would just come into this squatting position. If you can't flex the knee completely, if you ever had a knee replacement or knee surgery, or you've just torn the meniscus or have a tear, you can just do this. But the real pose, what that's called for, my hands come out perpendicular, arms straight. So I'm just kind of coming into a chair. Then I come all the way to the squat. Inhale all the way up to standing. Exhaling down. You could come just this far into chair, or you can squat all the way down. You're building a lot of core strength here. You're building your quads, your glutes. You know, if you're at the gym, the trainers always want you to do squats, walking across the room. That's to develop the gluteus maximus. And guys, supposed to keep our butts from falling, but they tend to fall anyway. These are hard. Okay, we're just going to go a few more times. It only calls for 25, and I think we've done that. So come down into all fours. We're going to end the Kriya as we began in cat-cow. So knees are right under the hips. My hands spread wide like a starfish. Right under my shoulders. Dropping the belly, chin comes forward on my inhale. Exhale. Rounding the spine. See if you can feel after 60 minutes of practice, are you feeling your spine even more? Are you more cautious of it, especially in cat pose? Great place to feel the thoracic spine. Cow, we're accentuating the lordosis, the natural curve of the lumbar. Great movement in your spine, Melanie. It's really opening up. I can see you really well because you're on the diagonal. Everybody else is straight on, so it's harder for me to see. What's great about these cat-cows is it really forces us to try to feel the three sections of the spine. As the chin comes towards the sternum, you really feel the cervical spine, don't you? Because the head, the cervical spine has to move in that flexion and extension. Okay, good job, everyone. Let's come onto your backs for Shavasana. 10 minutes today. Most important pose, don't ever cheat yourself out of Shavasana. I really believe that healing happens when we're relaxed. You've worked your entire body. You've been breathing deeply, pranayama, for over an hour. It's calming. So now the body's ready to restore, relax, heal. Let the wisdom of the body take over. The autonomic nervous system will breathe you. You don't even have to think about breathing. I'll bring you back in 9 minutes with the bell. Begin to breathe together. Inhale through the nose. Open the mouth. Big exhale with an audible sigh. Ah. Again. Inhale. Ah. Inhale again. Ah. Begin to make rounds of the ankles and the wrists. Stretching, working all the phalanges, all the toes and fingers, feeling the ankles, feeling the wrists, moving them, then interlacing the fingers, taking them over your head, point the index fingers forward, point the toes, dorsiflexion, and feel the spine telescope get longer. All those discs, those gelatinous discs between each vertebrae that act like little shock absorbers. Maybe you draw the knees towards the forehead, forehead towards the knees, compress the spine. Janet's even grabbing her toes, really makes her spine the smallest it can be. From there, you could roll the spine. You could roll up and down vertically on your mat, massaging the spine, or you could go to spinal twists, where you take the knees to one side, torso face to the other. Make sure you do both sides. You could move into happy baby, a modified pigeon pose where one ankle crosses over the top of the opposite knee. Make sure you do both sides. The body will tell you what it wants, where it wants to stretch, where it wants to twist, where it would like to bend. When you're ready, you can slowly make your way back up to a seated position. Sukhasana, easy pose, or a half lotus. Sitting up tall, shoulders are relaxed, face is relaxed. Bringing the hands to prayer position, Anjali Mudra. There's something reverent about bringing the hands into prayer. Seems for me anyway, some kind of consciousness state shift. I'm grateful to each of you for being on your mat, making time for your practice, creating practice with each other. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you, Roberta. Thank you, Pablo. Thank you, Medea. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Margaret. And for anyone tuning in future time, thank you for being here, being on your mat. We close with our prayer of protection in Kundalini Yoga, the longtime sun. It's honoring the constancy of life, the everlasting sun, the moon, that we walk in love and protection. And we're always guided to our highest and best self. So please sing with me. May the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on. Guide your way on. 3 long sat, 3 short nams. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. We bow to each other and we say Sat Nam.